As a next step, let's go ahead and create a new piece of content to use as our home page. And we'll use the text that was sent to us in the resource pack for that. So on the home page, you see there's a link that says Add New Content, so that seems like a logical thing to click. But let me also show you a couple other places because this will disappear as soon as we create some new content. Up here, in the shortcut bar, we have a link to add content as well. But because this is a shortcut, this could be removed in the future. So the permanent place to look for this link is under Content. And if you go ahead and click that, you'll see there's a link up at the very top that says Add Content. Let's go ahead and click that. We have two options here, Article and Basic Page. Now, just as a guess, Basic Page seems like the kind that we would want to use for the home page. So let's go ahead and create a new item here. I'm just going to click on this link. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick look at this form and see what options are available to us. At the very top, we have Title, which seems pretty straightforward. Body, with an Edit Summary shortcut link there. And if we click that, you see that it separates it out into two boxes, Summary and Body. Okay, we'll talk more about that later. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. We have a text format option here, which looks like it's associated with the body if we look at this bounding box around it. And then we have a set of options, starting with menu settings, revision information, URL path settings, comment settings, authoring information, and publishing options. And under each one of these links is a little bit of information about that. So in menu settings, it says not in menu. But if we went ahead and clicked the Provide a Menu Link checkbox, you'd see we'd have some additional options available to us and that no menu item disappears underneath. So the idea with this interface is that we can click on any of these elements to learn more about the settings and alter the settings for this particular piece of content. But if we need to just know a little bit about it, we can find out a lot simply by looking at these short descriptions underneath the links. Let's go ahead and back up and undo this click here. I'm going to click that. So we have the default settings again. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to the top and let's fill this out. I'm going to add a title. And at this point, we don't really need to think about a summary because the only place where this content is going to display, as far as we know, is on the home page. So let's go ahead and click this Hide Summary link again to unite this body into one input. And let's go ahead and jump to our resource pack. Once in your resource pack, go ahead and expand the data folder. And inside of it, open up the homepagetext.txt file. Go ahead and copy the entire content and jump over to your browser and paste it into the body. And let's go through the settings on this page and see if there's anything we need to adjust before we save this content. The first setting we come across is text format. Let's go ahead and skip that for now. We'll come back to it later. The first batch of settings has to do with the menu. And if you remember from looking at the home page, we already have a menu tab. And in our mockup, we also have a menu item in the top navigation bar. So we still want that home tab, but let's see if we can repurpose that home tab instead of recreating it here by providing a new menu link. The home one exists already. We'll go ahead and try to use that. So we'll leave this blank for now. Revision information. Now, just like it sounds, this has to do with revisions of the current page. So as we make adjustments to this page, we can create new revisions and roll back to them at a later date if we make a mistake, for example. This is especially useful for multiple user environments where many people may be editing the same content, but some people might have a different idea of where to go with that content. Let's go ahead and leave that blank for now. URL path settings. Let's see, we have a URL alias here. And it says optionally specify an alternative URL by which this content can be accessed. I'm going to go ahead and leave this blank for now, but we'll come back to this later. Let's check out the next batch of options, comment settings. We have two options, open and closed. Now I'm pretty sure we don't want comments on the home page if we're going to have comments at all on the site. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this as closed. I'll go to authoring information. It looks like this is information about when this content was created and who it was created by. So we're just going to go ahead and leave this blank for now. I don't see a reason to change it. Let's go ahead and look at the final one called Publishing Options. We have 3 settings here: Published, Promoted to Front Page, and Sticky at Top of Lists. Published seems pretty obvious. What it means is that when an item is published, it's visible to the public or to anybody who has permission to view published options. Promoted to Front Page is a little more cryptic, however. What this means is that if we're using the default home page, that clicking this will allow this content to display on that page. Just to demonstrate, let's go ahead and click this, and we'll see how it affects the home page after we save this. Sticky at Top of Lists is also a little cryptic. This is a useful setting for other modules to use or other items inside of Drupal. For example, if we use this in conjunction with Promoted to Front Page, then items that have Sticky at Top of Lists checked will show up on top of the list of content that displays on the home page. Later on, when we talk about creating lists of content, we'll use a module called Views, and we can use this Sticky at Top of Lists option as a flag in order to trigger certain actions inside of Views as well. Let's go ahead and leave that unchecked for now. Let's save this content. Okay, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. You've just created your first piece of content on a Drupal site.